Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and today we're going to be talking about online streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
Keep going, because apparently everybody's got one now.
Good lord.
Disney,
you can't,
Warner Brothers, DC.
You can't keep up at this point. But that's exactly why we want to talk about this. The whole point as a consumer that we thought these online streaming services had at the beginning was to give us an alternative to cable. But now, in order to get all the content that we all enjoy and watch religiously,
you have to have all of them.
Which costs as much or more than
cable.
most premium cable packages by the time you're done.
So let's say Hulu's $10, Netflix is $10.
Well, Netflix is, I believe, $14 if you go for the 4K and HDR option.
Okay, so Netflix is $10. Hulu's $10. Amazon Prime is
$49 a year, I think.
Okay. Disney is starting their own
in 2019.
Warner Brothers starts theirs next year.
Mm-hmm. The CW has their own, but technically it's free, sort of.
But they only have like an episode up for a week and then it's gone.
Exactly. You have Apple TV.
Yeah. Does Google do one?
I don't know. I know there's was it that's one called was it Voodoo or whatever?
Yeah.
Then there's the did you say Fox and NBC already?
No.
They both have their own. ABC has their own.
So we're up to 11
CBS
now.
has their own.
12.
HBO.
13.
Well, technically HBO has 2.
14.
One if you have cable, one if you don't.
Jesus Christ.
I think Showtime or Stars has one.
God, at this point it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it's getting so outrageous that in order to see all of the movies and TV shows that we enjoy, we have to spread ourselves so thin across so many different platforms. I mean, when Netflix first came out and we had the option to see everything all on one platform, that was awesome. When Hulu came out and we had the option to be able to see stuff that just broadcast last night, the next day, that was awesome. But now that all the big studios and networks are realizing how much money they're losing out on by licensing their content to third parties, and they're trying to start their own services to host their own content now, it's making it more and more difficult for us as the consumers to get even a halfway decent value out of what we're doing. Because now you go for Netflix, and yeah, you have the Netflix originals and some of the stuff that's still licensed to them, but more and more of that licensed content is getting pulled over to other places. So if you happen to have latched on to a Netflix original, at some point, probably once Disney officially pulls most of its stuff,
which is, what, about 2 years away now?
Year and a half. That's about all you're going to have to watch Netflix for is their original content, because there won't be enough good content left on Netflix that's not their own that you can watch.
I mean, well...
And Hulu is losing their licensing rights left and right because everybody's finding out that so many of the other services are giving better deals.
No, let's realistically look at this. Disney's will succeed.
Well, yeah, because they're coming in with the largest library of content of anybody.
Disney's will succeed. Disney's will be it's going to be a monster success.
Yeah, because they're coming in with their entire library, live action and animated, for movies and TV, as well as everything Marvel, everything Star Wars. I mean, that's already coming in with a huge catalog that so many people want and have been asking for ever since Disney started doing their whole let's take the classic animated films, pull them off the shelves from DVD and Blu-ray for like 5-10 years, and then put them back out again.
So, but then after that, Hulu starting to lose its steam a little bit.
quite a bit.
Amazon.
Amazon's a hit or miss. I think the biggest benefit that Amazon had was this year when they had access to the Oscar nominations as a free thing, and then afterward as a continued purchasing option, which they hadn't before.
That was pretty
cool. So they were
yeah.
actually getting quality movies at the time, and now are adding in their own original content, like The Tick, which, by the way, awesome.
I mean, I guess the best thing for this, in terms of like wanting it to happen and wanting it to keep going this way, is that the original content that those guys will do will continue to get better and better. Otherwise, they're going out of business.
And we have been complaining for a while about a lack of originality of content for our TV shows and movies because it felt like everything was either a remake or just a retooling of a story that we've seen 100 times before, and it didn't seem like enough. But now, with the original content that guys like Netflix and Amazon are putting out, it's making it better. And Hulu's trying their own hand at original content, but I haven't actually seen any of it, so I don't know how well that's going over.
Yeah, I haven't either. The big question that I have, I mean, granted, we're still a year and a half away, is the Marvel Netflix shows.
Yes, like Daredevil, Jessica Jones.
I have to think that they were under contract for X amount of seasons. And
that's the thing. Because Netflix has already projected the production schedule for their shows out, what was it, 2020, I think, at this point?
Yeah, like
or
2020, 2021, something like that.
And have been continuing to announce new shows like The Punisher. Right. Granted, that was prior to this big Disney announcement.
Right.
It's still one of those things that you're left going, well, it's a Netflix original, which means Netflix made it while Marvel/Disney sponsored it. But because Netflix was the actual creator, does that mean that they will be allowed to continue creating, or is that going to be pulled and Disney will now try their hand at creating and maintaining the same quality and tone that Netflix has?
The only thing I thought, from my understanding, it was just Netflix had the distribution rights to it, and it was all Marvel TV that was basically doing it.
Nope. Whenever you go and look up the articles about the production and the funding, scheduling, all that, those were all made on Netflix Studios, Netflix production lots, and Netflix crews.
Okay, so then the question becomes, who has the rights to those? Is it Marvel or is it Netflix?
And that's the problem. While licensing rights is Disney Marvel, production has been actually done by Netflix.
Okay.
So while technically Disney probably has the right to pull their license of those shows and take them in-house, because of the quality that we have been receiving for those shows, I'm not sure if that's the smartest move they can make.
Oh God, no. I mean, we saw what happens when Disney gets too hands-on with properties. You have Joss Whedon lose his damn mind and go to DC,
and Star Wars movies lose their directors left and right,
which might not be a bad thing.
We'll talk about that in another video.
Just saying, that might not be a bad thing, especially with who is coming in. So who's coming back?
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that in another video.
Yeah,
but
then the other thing that makes me worried is
it's a cash grab.
Oh God, yeah,
and that's the problem.
Absolutely. But I mean, what studio isn't doing shit to stay in business by making money?
But it's not a matter of making money though. That's the problem. It's that the studios are trying to make money without consideration of the financial burden that suddenly places on the consumers. And while the consumers can always say, well, look, if online streaming is going to become too expensive for me, I can always go back to cable. I might not like it, but I can do it. The problem with that is you have so many people that have dropped their cable subscriptions and don't want to go back, that it makes it very frustrating.
Oh, yeah.
And
you're
the more
not
the
wrong.
studio frustrates the consumers, eventually there are consequences for them.
You're not wrong.
It doesn't matter how big. I don't care if they're Disney big. At some point, there are consequences for the studio's actions.
Yeah, you're seeing it now with Netflix basically losing all of the good stuff that was on there.
Yeah.
And now, granted, I don't know how much you were into it, but I was a big Young Justice fan.
Oh, I loved it.
Loved the fact that season 1 was on Netflix. Then they put season 2. Then they announced that season 3 was finally going to happen. And it was going to be on Netflix. And then all of a sudden, no, we're going to start our own streaming service and it's going to be over there.
Which, by the way, speaking of that same streaming service, that's also the streaming service that they have announced that their new TV show that is going to include Titans is going to be on.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
they've been talking about for what, almost 2 years now?
Yeah, and they've officially started casting for it. Yep. And you're going, okay, wait, so you're saying that we're finally going to get to see Dick Grayson, maybe Robin, maybe Nightwing. We're still figuring that out. We're going to get to see Starfire. We're going to get to see Raven. We're going to get to see Beast Boy. We're going to get to see all the Teen Titans as, young adults. Mm-hmm. And you're going to be putting it on an obscure online platform that nobody's heard of and is so far completely untested.
That's how they're going to sell it, though.
Well, Marvel's actually already done the same thing because they announced a show recently, and I cannot remember the name of it, but that they're going to be doing something similar to Titans.
The Runaways?
It's the one that they're going to be putting in Squirrel Girl into.
I don't remember which one it was.
They actually cast a live-action Squirrel Girl after people have been clamoring for it.
And it's not Anna Kendrick.
Nope. Hoping that was Anna Kendrick. It's not Anna Kendrick. Granted, I can see the girl they cast being a potentially good Squirrel Girl. The problem is you're taking a character that fans have been asking for, and you're saying, we're going to give her to you. But you got to look hard. And then maybe you'll find the show that she's on.
Yeah.
We'll see. That doesn't do anything for the fans. That doesn't do anything for the consumers. If you're making it more difficult to access your content, and then that content, say, fails, shock! Who knew that was going to happen?
Yeah, but they don't ever go into this thinking that they're going to fail. They go into this thinking that the people will adapt, that people will buy in.
Or, and this is something I've actually been seeing a lot of people talk about online, especially a lot of proponents of online streaming services, is that while the big studios like Disney do not say that they're doing this intentionally in a crappy way, they are, all because they are still so stuck on the cable method of things that they figure if they can say that we did the online streaming thing, but it just didn't work, then, hey, that's definitive proof right there that the online streaming thing is a fad. Nobody actually wants it. So why keep investing into this piece of technology?
Right.
When it's because they didn't put an actual real effort into it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah. No, the way it's trending right now, man, I'm not optimistic, but then again, I'm a pretty hard pessimist. So, sorry, it's my emo tendencies coming out. Sorry.
So yeah,
I know you're more glass half full than I am, but right now I'm just kind of
especially with online stuff, I have been so optimistic about online options for content. Obviously the fact that we are doing this whole YouTube thing to begin with, kind of goes to show that we both have some optimism about online content.
Until YouTube flags us for inappropriate content, because they seem to be doing that a lot these days.
Yeah.
Suck it.
But, honestly, it's...
Was that allowed? Sorry.
Jamie? Sorry. One of my cats is trying to chew on the tripod.
Dude, he ain't trying.
No.
He ain't trying.
Good Lord. Anyway, so, what is there that we can say about this? Is there a solution? We can bitch and complain about this all we want, but is there a solution to this?
We not buy their streaming service, we let it fail, and then we... But then again, they could always just turn around and say, oh, well, nobody bought it because the content wasn't good enough, therefore we're not going to put the content out there.
Exactly.
So, and we'll see. We're gonna, like that's all we can do really at this point is just wait and see. You know, hope that they give us good content that I will drop money on.
I mean,
to see.
For me, I think that the best way that we as viewers and consumers can continue to inform these studios exactly what we want is to go and continue to support the platforms that are doing things the way that we're wanting to, you know, be that Netflix, Hulu, whatever, even if the content that we want isn't there yet.
Yeah.
Keep supporting them, keep letting them show that their model works.
Yeah.
And even if these individual studios like Disney, like HBO, like whatever, puts out their own special streaming platform, don't invest into those so that we can send the clear message that while as it is about the content, it's just as much or more about the ease of access to the content so that we're not going to be killing ourselves paying $100, $200 a month trying to get the shows that we want, to get the movies that we want.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is the only way that this can really be solved. It's going to hurt us personally in the short term, but I think in the long term, that's the only way to get the message across is with money.
Yeah.
And no matter how much it may suck to not buy into the Disney streaming service or the HBO or the Fox or whatever, just keep showing them that we care about which platforms are giving the content to us as much as the content itself.
Right.
So,
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. In the meantime, until the big studios can get their shit together and realize that the old cable method is dead, and
or it should be.
Yeah, and online is the way to go, but do it right.
Yeah.
I guess we just wait and see what happens.
Like always. But yeah.
Well, with that, this is Brad Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see ya.